Many in Major League Baseball will be using pink bats today on Mother's Day to benefit breast cancer. They'll be auctioned off a little bit later on in the year on MLB.com. Nick Swisher even brought his mom to the game. Yankees met her. Nick Swisher gave her a big hug. And happy Mother's Day indeed as you settle in and watch some baseball. As this afternoon, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Baltimore Orioles in the rubber game of a 3-game set from Camden Yards in Baltimore, Maryland. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball along with Ken Singleton. I'm Michael Kay. Happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. For the Yankees, it wasn't a great Saturday yesterday. They lost. Jabba Chamberlain is on the mound. There was some concern because he busted a blood vessel in his thumb yesterday. But thumbs up, he's fine, he's going to get the start. And if he could pitch the way he ended his other start, the Yankees would sign up for that.
Well, that was last Tuesday against the Boston Red Sox at the stadium. And Jabba, well, he had an unusual start, to say the least. In the first inning, he struggled big time. 3-run home run by Jason Bay. The Boston Red Sox broke out in the first with 4 runs, and the Yankees were down in a hurry. But from that point on, Jabba was a strikeout machine. He got it all together in the second inning, and Red Sox hitter after Red Sox hitter went out on strikes. And Jabba finished up strong, although he did get the loss in the ball game.
12 strikeouts, getting a career high for him, and he did it in just 5 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs all in the first, and he walked just 2. Let's look at today's New York Lottery pitching matchup. Who's Jabba going to face? It's Koji Uehara, 2-3, 4.42. Jabba 1-1 with a 3.77 ERA. Yankees need Chamberlain to step up. Yesterday, Phil Hughes did not do a good job. Jabba is the man who could give the Yankees the win in this series. Lineups, first pitch, baseball on Mother's Day, next on Yes.
Have you been?
New York Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by WB Mason. For office supplies at amazingly low prices, who but WB Mason? By Sponge Tech, the world's leading ultimate one-step wash and wax system. And by Firestone, a tradition of innovation. It is a glorious Sunday afternoon here in Baltimore, Maryland. A great day for baseball, and that's what we have for you here on Yes. The Orioles have taken the field. Uehara is taking his warm-up tosses, and let's take a look at the Yankees starting lineup. But first, let's go and look at the weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. 71 degrees, 33% humidity, pretty high winds, and a forecast is for windy and a mix of sun and clouds. Now, the starting lineups, which are presented by BMW, put together by Joe Girardi as the Yankees try to win the rubber game of this match. The shortstop and the captain, Derek Jeter, leads off. Batting second and playing left field, Johnny Damon. A 6-game hitting streak. In each of those games, he's had an extra base hit. Mark Teixeira at first base will hit third. Cleaning up and playing third is Alex Rodriguez. Hideki Matsui, the DH, will bat fifth. Batting sixth and playing right field, Nick Swisher. Robinson Cano at second base will bat seventh. Batting eighth and playing center field, Melky Cabrera. And Francisco Cervelli, the rookie, will catch, and he's going to bat ninth.
34-year-old right-hander Koji Uehara, formerly of the Tokyo Giants. Now pitching here for the Orioles. They signed him as a free agent to a 2-year deal. And his numbers have been decent for the Orioles this year, and some would say he's been their best starter. 6 starts, 2-3, 4.42. And you can see that the opponents are hitting 245. Let's check out the Jeep pitcher scouting report. 8-time All-Star in Japan. He was a starter and a closer. Started beginning of his career over there and a closer at the end. And he's got a very good split-finger fastball. That's his put-away pitch, and he's got tremendous control as well.
Uehara is ready, so is Jeter, and let's do it here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. And the first pitch is a strike, and we are underway. So Jeter sporting the pink bat that Louisville Sluggers made available to the players here on Mother's Day, and those bats will be auctioned off a little bit later on to raise money for a cure for cancer. High fly ball right field. Markakis is there, and there's one away. Let's take a look at the Orioles defense, brought to you by Home Depot. We've already seen Markakis, who has a good arm in right. In center field, Adam Jones, he can go get him. And Felix Pie is over in left. Jones already has 3 outfield assists. In the infield, Mora and Dino, Roberts, and Huff, that's third to first. The veteran Zahn behind the plate, and Uehara is on the mound. Here's Johnny Damon, 12 for his last 24. And there's a strike. So Damon with a home run yesterday has 8 home runs and tied with Nick Swisher for the team lead.
We talked about Uehara with his control. It's excellent.
IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV, the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes.
He's only walked 1 left-handed hitter this season in his previous 5 starts, and that was intentional. He walked Carlos Pena intentionally.
The 0-2 off the end of the bat foul. Guy throws a lot of strikes. 69.1% of his pitches are strikes. And that's the second highest in the American League to Kevin Slowey at 71.2. He's the Twins pitcher. Just missed inside. Mark Carlson will be calling balls and strikes behind the plate. The crew chief, Tim Cheetah, is at first. Bob Davidson at second. And Jeff Nelson is over at third. The 1-2. Nub foul. You see all the umpires wearing the pink wristbands.
And several of the players as well. That's Markakis in right field. Kim Jones informed us his mother is a breast cancer survivor.
And the 1-2. Swing and a miss on a splitter, and Damon down on strikes.
Uehara used the splitter. He actually takes a little off of that one, had some tumble to it. And you can see Johnny looking at it like, where did it go? Uehara comes over as a veteran pitcher, 34 years old in his rookie season in the States.
And the pitch is high to Teixeira. In 91 or 99, he won what is the equivalent to the Cy Young Award in Japan. Teixeira fouls it back. Teixeira 7 for his last 36. He had a solo home run in the 5th inning yesterday. But he's hitting just 196. And this is not the way he envisioned starting his Yankee career. He has really struggled out of the gate. He had only 19 hits in his first 100 at-bats of his Yankee career. That one is driven deep to right center field. Giving chase, Adam Jones on the track, at the wall. See ya! Solo home run. Mark Teixeira. And the Yankees are on the board with a run.
Well, Mark is from this area, and you can be assured that his mom is here today. So that's a nice present for his mom on Mother's Day. Margie, that's for you. Looked like a low fastball. And in this ballpark, the last night there were 7 home runs in the game, and they're starting to tee off already today.
Here's Alex Rodriguez. That one's in the dirt. The count 1-0. A-Rod went hitless yesterday. Did pick up a walk, 0 for 3. Still, that only hit was on the first swing on Friday night. A home run. He has 48 home runs against the Orioles. The 1-0. Strike. And the count 1-1.
Yeah, we talk about it. It's supposed to be a windy day. The wind didn't matter on that one. I mean, that was well hit. And in this ballpark, you know, with the friendly confines, if you hit it well, it's going to go.
And the 2-1. Foul back.
Oriole pitchers. Well, they've been giving up home runs. That's the 50th home run that the Oriole pitching staff has allowed, and that is the most in the American League.
And the Yankees have hit 46 home runs, and their pitchers have allowed 43. In fact, this is an incredible stat. A total of 88 home runs through their first 30 games, hit and given up. That's the most by far of any Yankee team ever. The previous high was 70 back in 1972. So they shattered that by 18. 3-2. Line drive. There's a base hit to left field. Felix P.A. fields, and Alex Rodriguez is on first. A 2-out single.
You know, it's nice to see A-Rod break in with the home run the other night, but you know, to keep that average moving on up, you need your base hits, your doubles. And we know about all the prolific home runs he's hit during the course of his career, but this is how you keep going, keep moving in the right direction with solid singles. They say that home runs are line drives gone wrong or gone long.
A-Rod leads up first. And Matsui fouls it back. Now we have to keep an eye on A-Rod because the one thing that he's still a little bit hesitant to do is slide. He did slide a couple of times in the extended spring training games, but not yet really in anger. And he's doing that with some trepidation because he'll be sliding where the surgery was on the hip. And we've yet to see him really bust it yet down the line. Pitches outside.
As to try and avoid hitting into a double play. Interesting matchup here that I'm sure they're interested in back in Japan with Matsui at the plate, Uehara on the mound. These two were teammates with the Yomiuri Giants.
He goes around.
And in one of those seasons, Matsui was the MVP and Uehara was won the Sawamura Award, which is equivalent to the Cy Young Award. So they reached at the top of their games in that same season. That was 1999, and so far Uehara's got the best of it. Matsui's 0 for 3 against him.
That season Uehara was 20-4.
20. That was his first year.
Nice way to break in.
Yeah.
Two, 3-2.
Remember, he has not walked a left-handed hitter outside of Carlos Pena, who he walked intentionally. So he can throw strikes. He can get the ball over the plate when he wants to.
Obviously, they will have A-Rod going. 3-2, 2 outs. Huff plays behind him. There he goes. High fly ball, center field. Adam Jones is there, and he'll put it away for the final out of the first. Yankees get 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. That 1 run on 1 swing. Off the bat of Mark Teixeira, his 7th home run of the year. Uehara doesn't like it. The Yankees do. Orioles coming up. Well, Jabba Chamberlain takes the mound with a lead as the Yankees gave him a run in the top of the first. Let's take a look at the Orioles lineup that's going to try to get some runs off Jabba, and is presented by BMW. Brian Roberts, the second baseman, leads off. Batting second and playing center field, the red-hot Adam Jones. Nick Markakis in right field will hit third. Cleaning up and playing first base is Aubrey Huff, and he has good numbers lifetime against the Yanks. Melvin Moore is at third. Luke Scott, the DH. Greg Zahn will catch. He's going to bat 7th. Batting 8th and playing left field, Felix P.A. And Robert Andino gets started shortstop. He'll bat 9th.
23-year-old Jabba Chamberlain on the mound for the Yankees on this Mother's Day. 5 starts, 1-1, 3.77, 29 strikeouts in 28 2/3 innings. Let's check out our Jeep pitcher scouting report. This is his first ever start at Camden Yards. He's worked in relief, of course, and if at first you don't succeed, that was his last start. He didn't succeed in the first inning, but after that, he was tremendous. And look at his road earned run average for this season, 1.47. away from the new Yankee Stadium.
Jabba broke a blood vessel in his right thumb just during BP yesterday, tossing a ball, but the Yankees training staff have been attending to it, and he's ready to roll as Brian Roberts steps in. Pitches outside. Now, Kenny mentioned in his last start, Jabba gave up the 4 runs, and there's Jabba in the bullpen before the game, checking out his thumb, seeing if he's going to be okay. If he's on the mound, he's okay. But they gave up, Jabba gave up 4 runs against the Red Sox and came back and struck out 12 and 5 2/3. So you might say, well, how unusual is that? And the answer would be very, very unusual. Since 1900, 2 other pitchers struck out 12 or more batters in a game in which they allowed 4 or more runs in the first inning. Just 2. One was Herb Score of the Indians, 14 strikeouts in 1959. And the other was Nolan Ryan of the Angels. He struck out 13 in 1973. So Jabba joins those 2 as the only pitchers to do it. There's a strike. Roberts slaps one into left field for a base hit. Brian's been struggling, 5 for his last 36, but he leads off the first with a single. Take a look at the Yankees defense, brought to you by Home Depot. In the outfield, left to right, Damon, Cabrera, and Swisher. In the infield, A-Rod, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira. That's third to first. Cervelli is behind the plate. Chamberlain's on the mound. When the Yankees make at least 1 error, they are 2-12. And the Yankees come into this game overall at 14-16. So if they play a clean game, that would mean they're 12-4 without committing an error. Here's Adam Jones, 4 for 9 in the first 2 games against the Yankees. Now, one other note about Chamberlain's 12 strikeouts. He did it in 5 2/3 innings. Only 4 other pitchers since 1900 struck out 12 or more batters, pitching fewer than 6 innings in the game. Pitch is low. Cole Hamels in 06, Kurt Schilling in 97, Kevin Appier in 94, and J.R. Richard in 78.
You know, those are all pretty recent when you think of things as far as that particular stat.
And there's probably a reason for that, though, Kenny. Because if you think about it, back in the 40s and the 50s and the 30s, if you were to get knocked out of a game, you probably didn't have to stop to strike out 12 batters. If you struck out 12 batters in under 6 innings, you were staying in whether you threw 200 pitches or not. So it's a different world. So the names that you have are going to be more recent.
The guys are staying in the ballgame no matter what.
Right. There was no union. They didn't have rotator cuffs back then. No obliques.
You know, we should watch Jabba and see what his control is like. And I mean, the thumb is on his pitching hand. So the thing about it, the thumb is like a guide. And you flip the ball over your thumb on a breaking ball. This should be interesting to see how his control. He fell behind Roberts, and now he's falling behind Jones.
Hot shot inside third, a base hit to Adam Jones. Roberts makes a big turn. He's going to stop right there. Throw comes into third. So the last thing Jabba wants is to have another rocky first inning. And he's on his way with runners on first and second. Now, Joe Girardi is going to come out. And you have to wonder, is this an injury trip?
I'll tell you, Adam Jones, the Yankees have not found a way to get him out. He's hit 3 shots to the right of A-Rod in this series. 2 doubles and now this single. And, you know, falling behind on counts and then having to come in with mediocre stuff, that's not what you're looking for. I guess Jabba said he's okay.
Now, one thing, though, Kenny, he never told the umpire, so that was let's go to it kind of trip. That was not how's your thumb, because he would have had the umpire come out. It would have been an injury trip and not just a trip. Yankees up 1-0. The Orioles, runners on first and second, nobody out. Here is Markakis. 16 for 38 this year with runners in scoring position.
Markakis has had 11 hits in the first inning this season.
And a strike. Alfredo Aceves will be the one that will go if Job is knocked out early. That's why he didn't pitch in yesterday's game. They were worried whether Java could pitch at all today. The 0-1. 1-1.
Here's a hitter's scouting report on Nick Markakis, who's having a great season for the Baltimore Orioles. And he leads the American League in runs scored. He's the only 30-30 player in the major leagues as of today. 30 runs scored, over 30 runs scored, and 30 runs batted in. And he and Mr. Jones. I'll explain that after this pitch.
Allen was driven to right field. Swisher's there. And it was hit so hard that Roberts never got back. Didn't read that ball very well and did not tag up.
You see Adam Jones at first base. Nick Markakis has driven in Adam Jones 12 times. Here's a line drive. That tough play for an outfielder. Line drive right at you, but Nick Swisher makes the play, gets the ball back in quickly. There's Roberts at second. He's thinking the ball might get over his head, and now it's hit so hard he can't get back to second and tag up and move to third.
And he kind of kicked it in the dirt when he head back to second base because he realized he'd made a mistake. If the ball's over his head, he would score even if he was tagging up. Aubrey Huff takes a pitch outside.
Said Markakis has driven in Adam Jones 12 times. It's the most in the league that one player has driven in another. So he and Adam Jones, they got a thing going on.
See what you did there. And a count 2-0 to Huff.
We had 3 pitches hit hard. Single by Roberts, single by Jones, then the line drive by Markakis.
Driven into right center field. That is going to be trouble. That ball is gone. A 3-run home run for Aubrey Huff. And the Orioles have jumped ahead 3-1.
Well, last night, Aubrey Huff, 3-run homer, kind of broke the game open. And whatever that was, it was to his liking. A line drive into the bleachers in center field. And it's 3-1 Baltimore, just like that.
Now, if you notice, when Aubrey Huff went around first base, or when he scored, you'll see when he scored what he does. And this is a direct message to Java Chamberlain. And we always talk about, well, this Java's histrionics on the mound, does it bother people? And Joe Girardi doesn't think that it bothers people. There's a bunt, and it's a beautiful bunt, and it's a base hit. But that's a message that the Orioles just sent to Java Chamberlain. You're going to do that, you know, we're going to do it right back to you when we do something big. And Java puts a bullseye on himself when he does stuff like that. So Aubrey Huff also could get the next batter hit by doing that. But that was obviously a message sent to Java Chamberlain.
Well, it might be interesting for the rest of the game. As Dave Tremblay, well, congratulates his cleanup hitter, who the last 2 nights has hit a pair of 3-run homers. And here it is. Here it is. Mark Carlson, the home plate umpire, is looking at him like, what's this about?
Well, the Yankees know what it's about. Here's Luke Scott. And there's the strike. So deja vu all over again with the first inning struggles for Java. That ball really jumped out.
Oh, it was a line shot. I wasn't sure it was going to clear the wall.
I didn't think so either. Driven out toward left field, giving chase is Damon. And out of play.
This is the first inning on Tuesday at the stadium. Jason Bay with the 3-run homer. And the Red Sox went on to score 4 runs that inning. in the top of the first. Today, so far, it's 3. The way the Orioles are swinging the bats here, they're going to be using pink bats for the rest of the season.
He's allowed 9 first-inning runs in 6 starts this season. Runner goes, and they haven't hung up. Somebody missed a sign.
They got to close down the angle here. Took a little while.
I begin to tell you how to score that.
It took a little while, but they finally got him.
Let's try to do it together.
It looked like some sort of delayed steal. Didn't work out. Maybe a missed hit and run sign.
3, 6, 2,
4,
3.
Nick Swisher's in there.
2, 3, 6, 4, 3, I guess.
Yeah. We'll have to see it again. But Nick Swisher got in there only from right. There could have been a 9 in there somewhere. That will go as a caught stealing.
With a lot of numbers next to it. And again, Teixeira breaks toward the bag. He did this last night, and he doesn't even take a swipe at the ball in the hole. Very odd. These are balls that look like he could have plays on, and he's just breaking toward first.
Here's Luke Scott with the base hit, and Teixeira goes down to first base. It did happen in last night's game, and here it is again, breaking towards first. Let's see if the ball's in the picture. Yeah.
I don't get it.
That's catchable ball.
Two, 3, 2, 6, 3 is the way they're scoring it. 2, 3, 2, 6, 3.
Cano was in there, wasn't he?
I thought he was, but they missed it. (3-1) Orioles. Here's a 1-0 to Zahn. Snap throw to first. Scott gets back.
Well, Cervelli can throw. We do know that. And he's also pretty good around the plate, too, blocking balls in the dirt. Not hesitant here, just over the right shoulder of Greg Zahn, and Luke Scott has to dive back.
Here's the scoring now officially. 2, 3, 6, 2, 4, 3. So Cano was in there. Popped up behind the plate and out of play.
Say that again, Michael.
2, 3, 6. 2, 4, 3.
2, 4, 3.
So the count 1-2 on Zahn. Zahn 6 for his last 9, 11 for his last 23. Trying to push his average up to respectability. He's at 221 right now. There's a slider. Check swing, says Jim Nelson.
A good quickness by Cervelli. Down and in on a tough pitch to handle. The more I see him behind the plate, the more I like his ability. During spring training, you see him either late in ball games or not at all. As we watch Jabba struggle in the first inning for the second consecutive start, you know, maybe his warm-up tactics, maybe there's something you got to change to get ready for preparation for the first inning to start the game.
Isn't that weird though, Kenny? He used to come in as a reliever and blow people away in the first inning. 2-2. And he took something off that pitch as Zahn swings and misses. But the Orioles get 3 runs on 5 hits. No errors and 1 man left. One fist pump crossing first, another one crossing home plate. Payback to Java, 3-1. Let's look now at the American Airlines upcoming schedule. Tomorrow's an off day for the Yankees. Then they fly to Toronto, all-night games. Tuesday's on My 9, Wednesday and Thursday right back here on Yes. Then back to the stadium, 4 games against the Twins. Friday night at 7 on Yes. Then Saturday and Sunday both at 1 o'clock on Yes. Then a Monday night wraparound game, 4-game set against the Twins on May 18th. That's a 7 o'clock start also on Yes. So more first inning struggles for Joba. The last 2 games he's given up 7 runs in the first inning. And the Yankees are down 3-1. Here's Nick Swisher. And there's a strike.
You know, falling behind on counts, particularly against the Orioles, who are a good hitting team, takes away a lot of mystery for a hitter. You know, you're usually just looking for a fastball from that point on. And eventually you're going to get one.
Now, Kenny, what do you make of the fist pumping by Huff?
You know, it's a message. Like you said, Michael, like you called it. The fact is that maybe it upsets the Orioles or maybe some of the other teams around the league who were watching these games on TV when Joba's pitching, and Aubrey Huff just had to make a statement on behalf of his ball club as to what they had seen in the past from Joba Chamberlain. So I guess if you're going to dish it out, you got to be able to take it as well.
That's what people used to say about K-Rod when he was with the Angels, and he would go wild after a save. And people would say, if you don't like it, then beat him. And not only did Huff hit a home run off Joba, but really rubbed it in and did it twice, once rounding first and then right when he crossed home plate, clear view of Joba Chamberlain.
Yeah, the first one wasn't visual at first. I don't think everybody caught it, but definitely the home plate. When you're touching home and all the spotlights on you after the home run, that's the one that got everybody's attention.
Now it's going to be very interesting. How does Joba Chamberlain react when Huff comes up again?
I don't think anything's going to happen. I think he's just going to try and get him out.
Well, that should be the way he approaches it, because again, he pumps his fist on the mound, and you don't run out there and do anything to him. So if you're going to pump your fist as a batter, he's got to take that as well and get you out. That's his payback, is if he gets you out. Swing and a miss. Swisher goes down. Now here's the one around first base. And he looks right at Joba Chamberlain. And then at home plate, just so that in case Joba missed it at first base. A little over the top, but some might say that Joba's a little over the top when he celebrates as well. What gets me, though, is so many people fixate on Joba Chamberlain, and so many other pitchers do it.
Well, I think, number one, the pitcher is the center of attention on the mound. And people have a tendency just to follow what the pitcher does and how he reacts to, you know, big outs in certain situations, particularly strikeouts. And Joba's been doing that ever since he came into the league. And maybe some of these players around the league don't feel he's been around long enough to be, you know, having that type of behavior.
Now, if you want to interpret something, though, Kenny, if you really want to go deeper into this.
Okay.
The reason that Joe Girardi says that he's okay with Joba doing that, he says it's natural emotion that comes out when he does something big. Obviously, what Huff just did was totally contrived.
Yeah, rehearsed, yeah.
The 0-2. So there are different ways to view this, and it could be a storyline as we move along in this game. Job has to worry about getting people out right now. The 1-2. Line drive, base hit off the bat of Cano, and down the right field line. Cano will round first. He'll go to second. It's a one-out double for the Yankee second baseman, who came into that at bat 3 for his last 29.
Well, those 3 have all come in this series, so maybe snapping out of it. 3 for 8. Make that 3 for 9 now in this series as he picks on a pitch up in the zone and rips it over the head of Aubrey Huff. Was that a message? Head into the corner for a 2-base hit.
Eighth double of the year for Robinson Cano. Here is Melky Cabrera, one of the Yankees' hottest hitters, at 10 for his last 25. And that one's foul tipped into the glove of Zahn, 0-1. .338 average for Melky Cabrera.
You know, one thing the approach for the Yankees against a pitcher like Uehara, you mentioned, Michael, he throws just about 70% of his pitches for strikes. You should be up there getting ready to swing the bat. You know, looking for that first pitch that's somewhere near the middle of the plate, because he's gonna be around the plate just about all day long. It's just a matter of whether he starts hitting corners or not. And when you get 2 strikes, particularly left-handed hitter, the splitter is his pitch of choice.
That's where he is right now at 1-2. And the pitch. Nub foul.
Uehara recently was literally knocked out of a game against the Angels. He gave up a home run to Torrey Hunter. The next batter was Kendry Morales, and he hit a home run. The third batter, the reason why I don't remember his name, because he didn't hit a homer, but he hit one to the 364 sign in left center field. Then Gary Matthews Jr. hit a line drive that hit Uehara in the chest and knocked him out of the game.
That's a hot shot to short, and Dino fields. And Cano has to stay put at second, 2 outs.
And for a while, Uehara was down on all 4s. Trainer Richie Bancells came out to look at him, as this is a hot shot through the middle. And Andino makes the play and will throw on the first base for the out. And they had to call his translator out onto the field to check on him to see what his condition was. His breath was knocked out, and he made his next start.
Was he taken out of the game after that?
Taken out of the game.
Here's Cervelli. Swing and a miss. One for 7 in the big leagues. Picked up his first major league hit on Friday. 1 for 7 this year in the big leagues. He played last year. I believe he was 0 for 5. Now 1-1.
The Orioles' first Japanese player, Koji Uehara.
1-1. 1-2.
Let's see what this pitch is. Either a changeup or a splitter. I believe that was a changeup. Didn't have quite the downward movement of a splitter. And he learned to change up in spring training. Rick Kranitz, the pitching coach, taught it to him. Picked it up right away. Circle change.
2-2.
So that gives him 4 pitches you're going to have to deal with. Fastball, breaking ball, splitter, and a changeup.
2-2 pitch. Popped up. Left field. Coming on is Felix P.A. He's there. And he puts it away for the final out of the second inning. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We go to the bottom of the second. See if Jabba rebounds. He's down 3-1. It's time now for the Pepsi throwback moment.
Well, Jim Palmer played his entire career with the Baltimore Orioles, Hall of Fame inductee in 1990, 3-time American League Cy Young Award winner. And he was in the mid-70s into the 80s. As we take a look back at Jim Palmer in his classic style, straight over the hand fastball, good curveball. 8-time 20-game winner. And we were talking about before the game today, Michael. He won 8 times over 20 games, but that was in 9 seasons. And the one year he didn't, he was injured that year.
And there's Jim right now, broadcaster for the Orioles. A Pepsi throwback moment for a limited time only. Get down with the refreshingly retro flavor of Pepsi Throwback, made with natural sugar.
So if you ask Jim, he would tell you, I could have won 29 years in a row.
How much did he win that one year he didn't win it?
7. He was injured. He was 7-12 that year.
Here's Felix P.A.
That was a different era, though, back in the 70s. My first year with the team, I think he went 23-11 or 23-12, won the Cy Young, 323 innings. And 25 complete games. That's not going to happen anymore.
We're in the bottom of the second, 8-9-1 in the Orioles order against Jabba Chamberlain, PA, Andino, and Roberts. Grounded to short. Jeter fields, fires, 1 out. Take a look at Tuesday's starting pitchers, brought to you by Verizon Fios. Over 100 HD channels and the fastest internet. This is Fios. This is big. Boy, you would pay to see this one, and you're going to see it free on My 9. A.J. Burnett, 2-0, 5.26 against his mentor, Roy Halladay, at 6-1, 3.29. And the coverage does begin at 7 p.m. on Tuesday on My 9.
Well, the Rogers Center in Toronto is going to be hopping on Tuesday night.
Blue Jays off to a great start. And Dino takes a strike.
They have probably been the best hitting team in the league.
Grounded to Jeter. And Jeter across the diamond, 2 away.
We should explain the Pepsi throwback. That's the first time we've done that. But we're going to be featuring not only players from other teams, but players from the Yankees as well, from days gone by. And that's hence the throwback, Pepsi throwback. And we'll be doing it in Toronto.
There's Brian Roberts, started off the first inning with a single to left. Ended up scoring on Huff's home run. Count 0-1. Got pink shoes, pink spikes there for Brian Roberts here on Mother's Day. And the 1-1. Now the pink bats, it's a wonderful gesture, a great idea to raise money for breast cancer research. I can't picture like Ted Kluszewski or Frank Howard or Hank Aaron,
Frank Robinson
wielding a pink bat. I just can't see it.
How about Boog Powell?
No, can't see it. The 1-2. Fouled away.
Well, the awareness level is just, this is how you get aware of things.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
Yes, it is. Not that breast cancer was not an issue back in those days, but Major League Baseball and the rest of sports didn't make an issue with it.
I think what Major League Baseball does on Mother's Day with breast cancer awareness and then prostate cancer awareness on Father's Day, it's tremendous. And so many people watch the games, come to the games, and if you just change the minds and get donations for a couple of people, you've done your job. Count 3-2 on Roberts.
What's the theme on Fathers? Keep Dad in the game.
Swing and a miss. Changeup. And Roberts down on strikes. So Jabba rebounds with a 1-2-3 second inning. We go to the third in Baltimore. It's 3-1 O's.
明日は母の日です。皆さんお母さんを大切にしましょう。Happy Mother's Day.
In any language, that is the sentiment today from Hideki Matsui as we move to the third. And Derek Jeter digs in. So Derek has discarded the pink bat, which he flew to right with. And now with the black bat, he singles to left. So a leadoff single here in the third by Derek.
Jeter's second hit in the series. A leadoff single, trying to get things going for the Yankees here in the third. Fastball right down the middle for Muihara. He's going to throw strikes. You got to be ready to swing the bat.
On the Modell's scoreboard, it's 3-1 Orioles, and Modell's is the official sporting goods retailer of the New York Yankees. For Jeter, his 258th hit lifetime against the Orioles. That's the most for any player since Paul Molitor had 268 against the O's. Derek could do that this year. They still have a lot of games left against the Orioles.
After the Yankees road trip and playing the Twins come in, and then the Baltimore Orioles followed them into New Yankee Stadium.
Runner goes. They had to hit and run on. And foul back.
Well, Damon guessed right who was going to cover. It was going to be Andino, and then it opened up the left side. And Johnny a little late on that fastball, and trying to get something moving here for the Yankees in the third inning. And that's what you can do against a pitcher who throws a lot of strikes. Uehara is around the plate, so that means you're probably going to get something you can put the bat on, as opposed to a pitcher who's all over the place and hard to get a beat on.
Jeter has stolen 7 bases and has not been caught. Pretty good ratio, percentage.
Now, last year, Derek only stole 11 all year, but he had the quadricep problems during the course of the season.
Jeter just got back. Off-speed pitch, and Damon way out in front.
We talked about his splitter and how good it was. Second time he has struck out Johnny Damon on a split finger fastball. And look at the bottom fall out of that one. He sells it, and then they just won't get there. And plus, it has good movement, too. That's his 3rd strikeout.
Here's Mark Teixeira. Oh, and 1 was Teixeira with a solo home run in the 1st inning. Teixeira born or raised in Severna Park, Maryland, which is about 20 miles south of Camden Yards. And many people in the area thought that he was going to come here when he became a free agent. That didn't work out. That's why he gets booed the way he does every time he comes to the plate. 1-1. High fly ball left field. Long run for PA. He's there. 2 outs.
Well, I think it's a pent-up frustration of Baltimore fans who've seen their team have a losing record 11 consecutive seasons. Right now, they're in last place in the division. They boo A-Rod because, maybe because of the steroid situation, but because he's been pounding the Orioles for a long time.
Alex singled in the 1st inning.
.48 career home runs against Baltimore.
None more dramatic than the 48th, which came on the first pitch he saw off the DL on Friday. 1-0.
I've been 47 ribbies.
There's a strike. Count 1-1. A-Rod in the clubhouse early today, camping in front of a bank of computers, looking at different angles of his swing. Also watching Uehara as well, some tape of him. A lot of that stuff at the disposal of all the players, and he got there early to take advantage of it. Popped up, shallow right. Markakis is called off by Jones. And that'll do it here in the third. No runs a hit. No errors and one man left. We go to the bottom of the third. Jabba Chamberlain is going to face Aubrey Huff, third batter, coming up. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. By J&R Music and Computer World. And by IOTV. IOTV offers you incredible picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV. Well, we go to the bottom of the third inning on the Modell scoreboard. Orioles lead 3-1 on Aubrey Huff's 3-run home run in the first inning. And Modell's is the official sporting goods retailer of the Yankees. And Huff will be the third batter up this inning. Adam Jones takes a strike. Now, we mentioned that because in the first inning, Aubrey Huff hit the home run, then pumped his fist rounding first, and then a dramatic fist pump as he got to home plate, kind of mimicking what Jabba Chamberlain does when he records a big third out of an inning, and as he did against the Red Sox in that 12 strikeout performance on Tuesday. Obviously, it was something that rankled Aubrey Huff, but now he has certainly put a target on his back, and we'll see if anything happens here in this inning. A 1-1.
I think one of the keys to that situation, if there is going to be any sort of a retribution by Jabba, he has to get the first two guys out. You know, just hitting people. Sometimes the guy you hit comes around to score, and that could be the run that beats you.
1-2. And he doesn't get the first two batters. As Adam Jones has really hurt the Yankees in this series. He is 6 for 11. Leadoff single.
Well, he talked about the fact that he is a star in the making. Orioles got him in a trade. Seattle Mariners had pitches much too close to the middle of the plate. And as Michael said, Adam Jones is a man on a mission in this series. He's been hitting the ball very hard. And he's got good speed, too.
Here's Markakis. Nice pick there by Teixeira, saving an error for Jabba. And a strike. 93-mile-an-hour fastball for Chamberlain.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about the speed of Jabba's pitches. You know, out of the bullpen, we've seen him 96, 97. But as a starter, usually it's around 92, 93. Maybe more of pacing himself. When he got a lot of strikeouts against the Red Sox, there's 12 strikeouts and 5 2/3. A lot of those strikeouts were on changeups and good breaking balls. And well-spotted fastballs. 9 of the strikeouts were the called third strike.
Count 1-2. His 9 called strikeouts were the most in a game for any major leaguer since Mike Messina had 9 against Boston in his near-perfect game at Fenway on September 2nd of 2001.
Ooh.
Just missed.
Just off the outside corner. I remember that game. I wasn't working that series, and I was driving back. I think it was a Sunday night baseball game.
Yes, it was.
And I was driving back from Ocean City, Maryland, back to Baltimore here, listening to the game on the radio. I had my son Dante with me. And Dante was getting all pumped up during that game. Messina was just retiring hitter after hitter. And we just maybe about 15 minutes from home. And Carl Everett got the base hit on 2 strikes, and Dante got so ticked. I had to calm him down for the rest of the 15 minutes. Again, another good stop by Cervelli. This is tough on a catcher. You know, coming in behind the hitter, ball's breaking down and in. A lot of spin when the ball hits the dirt. Looked like the ball almost hit Markakis. If you get an endorsement from Tony Pena as your ability to catch, that's good enough for me.
Runner goes, 3-2. It's a walk. Now, Adam Jones overslid the bag, but it's a walk nonetheless, so he makes second.
Now, wait a minute. Did he touch the bag? He went off the base. He should be out. Even though the fact that it's a walk, he's supposed to stop at second base. And if he leaves the bag, then he should be out. See, he touches the bag. He overslides it. It doesn't matter whether it's a walk or not. Now that he should be out because he slid the bag. If it's a walk, he could have walked down to second and still stepped off the bag, and Jeter could tag him then, and he would be out. There's no timeout during a walk.
Clearly off the bag right there.
If Jeter makes the tag before he gets back there, he's out, and I believe he should be. Even though it's ball 4, he overslid the bag. It's just as if he walked down there and then went beyond the bag. He's out.
He is out. And now here's Aubrey Huff, which makes this a possibility, because if they were first and second and nobody out, I don't think he's I don't even think it could be an option, but we'll see if Jabba retaliates for Huff showing him up when he hit the home run in the first inning. An interesting matchup right here. Starts him outside 1-0. By the way, Dave Island went to the mound as they were having the discussion with Dave Tremblay. The 1-0. Up and in, 2-0.
I believe the putout is going to go to Derek Jeter, 6 unassisted. On that last play.
Missed outside, 3-0. So a single by Jones and a walk to Markakis, and now 3-0 on Huff. And he's swinging 3-0 and fouled it back.
I think this one is a stay tuned.
Markakis leads off first. Runner goes. And the pitch is low and inside. So no retaliation for what Huff did. And there's runners on first and second. Hey fans, it's time for the Toyota text poll. Today's question is, what has been the most impressive accomplishment in the early part of the 2009 season? Text your vote to 58772. You know that standard text messaging rates apply, and your choices are: number 1, the Blue Jays in first place; number 2, Zach Greinke starting off 6-1. He lost a 1-0 decision to the Angels of Joe Saunders yesterday; Ryan Zimmerman's 27-game hit streak; and Carl Crawford's 21 stolen bases. Vote now, and we will tell you the results a little bit later on.
I think for all the fans out there who wanted some retribution, I think the number one thing in this game is to win the ball game. And with the Yankees trailing 3-1, Jabba wasn't really in a position to retaliate. It would have been almost like a personal thing as opposed to a team thing. Now, that's not to say that something might not happen in the future.
The 0-1. And the count 1-1. And that could have been what Dave Island was saying when he went out to the mound. Okay, listen, we got a little bit of a jam here, and now's not the time to do it. Ty Wigington is on deck. Don't know if anything happened with Luke Scott, but Wigington is going to pinch hit for the DH, Luke Scott. First and second with 1 out. 1-1. Strike. 1-2.
Yeah, Melvin didn't like that one. He turned in disgust, goes for a little walk. Take a little personal time. Target's low and away. Borderline. Cervelli did a good job of framing the pitch. Melvin thinks he's the one who got framed.
Stadium gun had that at 97 miles an hour.
Usually it's the high heat that's got the real power behind it.
There's that slider in the count 2-2.
Not a good ball strike ratio. .50 pitches, maybe a little above what you would want at this time. 54, I should say.
2-2. Java's command not quite that sharp today, and the count 3-2.
Watch and see what the Orioles do here. Markakis has good speed at second. Huff is maybe a little below average, but a chance to maybe send the runners, thinking that Moore is going to make contact. Moore is looking down at third base coach Juan Samuel just to see what's happening on this pitch, if the runners will be going. Cervelli flashing the signs to the rest of the infielders as what the Yankees defensive posture is going to be here.
Runners lead on 3-2. They do not go. And that one's grounded right back to Java. Goes the second one on to first. It's a double play. So Chamberlain works out of trouble and gets a twin killing to end the inning. Right back to the mound. 1, 4, 3. No runs a hit. 1 man left. We go to the 4th. 3-1 O's.
Hey, Mom. Just want to wish you happy Mother's Day. You've done so much for me in my life. I mean, you gave me life, so I can't thank you enough. I love you. Happy Mother's Day. And to everyone else out there, enjoy the day.
Nick Swisher actually has his mom in the ballpark today. She was on the field before the game, so heartfelt message from Nick to his mom and all the other moms out there. We go to the 4th inning, 3-1. Orioles lead. And the pitch to Matsui is a strike.
That was a 66-mile-an-hour changeup. As you look at the hug exchange between Nick and his mom prior to the ball game. 66 miles an hour.
I always say this on Mother's Day, and perfect time to say it now. For all you kids out there, your mom takes you to Little League games and things like that. Your dad might be working. So take the time today to tell her how much it means to her, or it means to you what she did and how much you love her. And, you know, I wish I had the opportunity today. So if your mom's not there, you're going to be sorry you didn't say it. So she is there. So walk away from the TV for a second and tell her thanks. So happy Mother's Day to everybody out there as Matsui goes down on strikes.
Full strikeout for Uehara. I had a chance to visit my mom before I came out to the ballpark today and pass along my best wishes Mother's Day, and told her I'd be back on Friday.
Here's Nick Swisher. He struck out in the second. Chases a pitch up in the zone. 0-1.
Uehara to this point has done a pretty good job of mixing his pitches. The changeup, the off-speed pitches, the fastball it's not really overpowering. A good splitter. This is his second start this year against the Yankees. He beat the Yankees here at Camden Yards on April the 8th. Working 5 innings, 5 hits, a run, a walk, no strikeouts in that game.
There's a hot shot base hit through the right side. Time for the New York State Smokers Quitline Quiz. What do we have today to stump you? Last night, Adam Jones hit the 18th home run of his career. Off whom did he hit his first home run? I have no idea. I would assume it's probably somebody on the Yankees. Nope, they tell me it's not.
Last night we were speculating whether the home run he hit off Brett Tomko was a home run that he in his first at bat against Tomko in his career. The previous 5 home runs he'd hit this year were off pitchers he had seen for the first time, the first at bat against them. But last night that was not the case. He's 2 for 4 against Brett Tomko. So 5 of the 6 home runs he's hit this year off pitchers he had never seen before.
Walked into the Yankee clubhouse early today and walked past Joe Girardi's office, and Joe was sitting there. And he's talking with Robinson Cano in the corner of his office, and they couldn't have been separated face to face by more than a foot. And it seemed like a very, very deep conversation, and Robbie was nodding, and I never got a chance to get to Joe and say what it was about. But, you know, Robbie has come into this game 3 for his last 29. So it looked like a real heart-to-heart. It wasn't animated by any stretch of the imagination, but it was certainly, it seemed like a heartfelt conversation. Popped up. Home run of the silo. Moore is there for the second out. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees.
Mentioned the high winds. We've had several bits of paper or hot dog wrappers blow across the field, and
hot dog wrapper up against the wall.
I don't see any mustard on that.
Cabrera swings and misses.
Uehara's done a good job of keeping the Yankee hitters off balance. Somewhat in between on the fastball and the off-speed stuff at this point in the ball game.
He looks better than he did when he faced the Yankees in the first series of the year. Looks much more comfortable. Orioles sign a guy like that, just trying to tread water till their young pitchers in the minors are ready. And if you're a team like the Orioles and you're not going to have a big blowout sort of payroll, the only way you're going to turn things around is to produce your own pitchers. You've got to draft, you've got to develop, and they've got to come up here and hit it.
Or make some trades and,
right.
and then develop them.
But they're not going to go into the free agent market and sign CC Sabathia or A.J. Burnett.
No.
They're just not going to play at that level.
You saw Jeremy Guthrie there a couple of years ago. They claimed him off waivers from Cleveland.
Melky dumps one to left field, but it's a foul ball over the head of Moore. The American League East standings at this point, it's a little odd with the Blue Jays up top, 21-12. I don't think anybody really thought that was going to happen. The Red Sox at 19-12. The Rays beat the Red Sox yesterday, and the Yankees essentially tied, and then the Orioles are at 13-18.
You know, one reason they say the Blue Jays have played so well, they haven't really played any teams within the, they've played the Orioles.
That's it.
Played a series against the Orioles. They will see the Yankees starting Tuesday night, but outside of that, they haven't played anybody in the division.
And that stretch begins that Tuesday night. They'll play the Yankees, and they're going to play the Red Sox and the Rays. Then we'll see exactly what they have. It's hard to believe, as great as their offense is, with the pitching they have, that they could hang, but we'll see. Last year, no one thought that the Rays would hang, and they hung, and they persevered.
Well, they had A.J. Burnett winning 18 games for them last year, and Roy Halladay winning 20. And that's the matchup for Tuesday night at Rogers Center. That game will be on My 9.
Cabrera really hanging in there.
And you can see during the course of this at bat how Uehara's had Cabrera in between. He's fouled off the off-speed pitches to the left, and same with the fastball in. So Uehara's mixed the fastball in tight, and it's soft stuff away.
One, two.
Zahn has to scramble to come up with that one.
Another crowd in the 30s, I'd say. Yesterday was actually a crowd in the 40s for a team that's averaging about 19,000 a game. Not too bad. So the Orioles could say how they don't like it when the Yankees come to town and there's so many Yankee fans and more Yankee fans than Oriole fans, but I'm sure that the owner of the Orioles, Peter Angelos, likes it. At least his ballpark sells seats that wouldn't be sold otherwise. When it goes. And a high fly ball to center field off the bat of Cabrera. Adam Jones is there, and that's going to do it in the fourth. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left. Let's take this baby to the bottom of the fourth inning. It's 3-1-0s. Time for the answer to the New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz. The question is, last night Adam Jones hit the 18th home run of his career. Off whom did he hit his first home run? And the answer is Adam Eaton, now his teammate, who got the win last night on August 10th of 2006. Family day out at the ballpark. Ty Wigington pinch hitting for Luke Scott. What they say, Kenny has a shoulder problem?
A left shoulder strain, and Scott is out of the game. He was the designated hitter today, so Wigington will take over as the DH.
Popped up and out of play.
Wigington was, well, 3 years in a row he's had over 20 home runs, and the Orioles are looking for a right-handed bat with power and somebody who can play several positions. I think I mentioned yesterday when Moore was on the disabled list, Wigington took over at third. We've seen him play second when he was with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays at the time. He could also play a little bit of the outfield and first base.
The 0-2. Fouled away.
To me, it looks as though Jaba's rushing it up there a little bit quicker as the game has gone along here. Getting the fastball in the mid-90s now. You can tell by the reaction of the hitters. They're scrambling to catch up to it. Look out.
So Wigington gets punked.
Oh, 2 pitch. Looked like a two-seam fastball. He took it right off the shoulder. And will head down to first base. It just turned and took it.
I really, truly don't believe that you hit Ty Wigington for something that Aubrey Huff did.
It's not leading off an inning, you do.
Greg Zahn rockets one to center field. Melky's there, one away. He just has a different air of confidence after the first inning, and it's something that the Yankees obviously going to have to figure out. He's thrown 65 pitches with one out here in the fourth inning. Last game he got up to 108.
Felix Pie is kind of a little danger of losing his job here. You saw Lou Montañez take over last night, and Montañez actually hit a home run, but is not playing today because of a sore thumb. Pie gets a chance to get in there. But when you're toting around a 155 with a homer and, what, 2 runs batted in, might find yourself on the pine.
Grounded up the middle and through for a base hit. Wigington will go to third, and he will make it ahead of the throw. And then PA advances to second on the throw. That was not great baseball by the Yankees right there.
Now, first of all, the ball hops into center field as PA off the end of the bat, and it took a big high hop over the mound and just continued on into center, almost directly over the bag. You see Jeter coming on, can't get to it. Then Wigington decides to go to third. See, there's nobody there to cut this throw off. Remember, Jeter took himself out of the play going for the ball, and the throw goes all the way to third, and PA moves into second, so the double play is not in order now. The key to that play was trying to keep PA at first base, so you get yourself a possibility of a double play. Now, once he realizes the throw's going to third, he continues down to second.
And Dino fouls it away.
And Melky at best had an outside chance of throwing out Wigington at third base. The ball was a high hopper over the mound. I think it was a case of trying to do too much. Now you force Job into a situation where he really would like to have a strikeout. And Dino plays about once a week. He plays on Sundays afternoon following a night game on Saturday, spelling his tourists.
Came from the Marlins, a deal right toward the end of spring training. Hayden Penn, the former #1 draft pick for the Orioles, just didn't pan out. They traded him to the Marlins for Andino.
Yeah, Penn was the candidate for the starting rotation and has been for a number of years. And the Orioles, well, he didn't have any options left, so they traded him to get Andino, who's going to back up his tourists. And Brian Roberts.
Given out to right field, slices foul.
You know, when you haven't played, you play once, maybe twice a week at best. It's kind of tough to keep your bat in game condition here. So this is a big bat for at bat for Andino to try and help the ball club out, but it's also If Jabba can reach back and break off one of those breaking balls, I think he has him set up for it right here. The last pitch was a fastball that was up. If they can get a breaking ball down and away, they might be able to put him away. And now we're going to have a discussion on the mound. At this point, there's nobody warming up in the Yankee bullpen, so this is maybe a reminder of what he should do here.
They've got Wigginton at third and Felix P.A. at second. Jabba needs a strikeout here of Andino. The only one in is Teixeira. He's about even with the bag. A ground ball gets Wigginton in any other place. Line drive right at Jeter. So the Yankees catch a break. Andino hit the ball hard. 2 away.
It was a breaking ball, but it was not Jabba's best. This one kind of hangs a little. I think he took a little off of it, and it was up. And Andino gets into it, but a lunging catch by the Yankee captain, and there's a 2 down. That was a big out. You can see the fastball's up right there, about belt high out over the plate. And Andino put a nice swing on it, but didn't get the results.
Here's Brian Roberts. And the pitch is inside. Count 1-1. Roberts 1 for 2. Came into the game 5 for his last 36, which is 139. Foul back.
You know, Roberts was a late addition to the WBC team for the USA team, and I think it was when Kevin Youkilis got injured, they asked Roberts to join the team, and he went 7 for 16 while playing for Team USA, and he said he had a time of his life. And remember, all the 8 years he's been here in Baltimore, they haven't really had meaningful games late in the season. So he was happy to be playing in some pressure-packed ball games.
And the 1-2. Swing and a miss by Roberts on a slider in the dirt, and that does it. So Chamberlain works out a problem. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We played 4 in Baltimore. It's 3-1 Orioles on Yes. Well, thank you, Nancy. Here on the Lexus scoreboard, top of the 5th inning, Yankees are trailing a 3-1. That's Chamberlain against Uehara. All the runs came in the first inning. The Yankees scored a run on Teixeira's home run, and the Orioles scored all 3 on the 3-run home run by Aubrey Huff. Francisco Cervelli leads off. He flew out to left. That was in the second with a runner on second and 2 outs. And that bangs off the mask, I believe, of Zahn in the count 0-1.
That elaborate mask, and Zahn, who had the same sort of style when he was with Toronto, and of course the colors are different here, the orange and black. And he's got a angry looking Oriole on the side of him. Look at that thing. All fired up.
Line drive, base hit to left field. So Cervelli, his second major league hit. A leadoff single here in the 5th.
There been nothing cheap about his 2 hits in the big leagues. This is a rocket into the hole in the left field. His first hit the other night during CC Sabathia's outing was a solid single to center. And Dino waved at as it went by.
Here's Derek Jeter. Last time up, he's single to left. Opponents usually hit a little bit better against Uehara the second and third time they see him. They had 192 first pass through the order, 231 second pass, and 333 after that. And this is Jeter's third at bat against Uehara.
Yeah, that has a tendency to happen to most pitchers because they usually get a little more tired. Hitters have a better idea of what you're throwing. First inning fastball is usually a little crisper than the one that you see in the fifth and sixth innings.
Well, Uehara changed his speed so much that was an 86-mile-per-hour fastball, and Jeter was late on it. Yesterday, Phil Hughes didn't pitch well, and after the game, Joe Girardi said it was all about mechanics, arm slot, things like that. Was not overly concerned, but you are looking for consistency from Hughes. Popped up, right side. Aubrey Huff runs out of room.
When your mechanics are fouled up, your location is fouled up, your control is off. Usually looking to repeat that delivery time and time again.
Jeter fouls it away.
Try to get Derek to chase the splitter out of the zone, would not do it. And that's what I mean about having a little better idea the third time around. You know, you recognize pitches a little bit better. You're able to hold up on the ones that are just out of the zone and make the pitcher come in and throw strikes a few more times. And we've already told you Uehara is going to be around the plate. So you're almost always ready to swing.
Jeter swings and misses.
This was a fastball. A little tailing action, but it was just about right there. Jeter was late. As Uehara throws it by him, and we mentioned he's not really overpowering. It's just he can be confusing with all the stuff that he throws up there at different speeds.
Here's Johnny Damon. He struck out twice against the Oriole right-hander. Foul back.
Both times he got Johnny on the split finger.
And the 0-2. Just missed outside.
You know, this guy gets the most out of what he's got. He doesn't really throw all that hard, but he knows how to pitch. He's had a lot of success, certainly not in the big leagues, but over in Japan, it gave him confidence that he could come over here and pitch at this level. And as I said, he's probably been the Orioles' best starter. I know that Guthrie's starting to come on a little bit.
This could be two. There's one. On to first. It's a double play. A 4-6-3 double play. Damon hit it sharply, but a nice stab by Roberts. A good feed to Andino, and a nice throw over to Huff. We go to the bottom of the fifth. We're halfway through. Hey, it's break time. Time for a fresh brewed cup of coffee. Yes, we get our Green Mountain K-Cup coffee system from the same people who bring us our office supplies. WB Mason. Who but? Oh, not studying, lying to mom, but still, the bottom line gets you out of it. Happy Mother's Day indeed.
When he gets home and there's no dinner.
And then when he fails the test. Well, we go to the bottom of the fifth inning. It's 3-1 O's on the Lexus scoreboard. Jones, Markakis, and Huff. And Jabba deals. Outside, 1-0. Jones is 2 for 2 in the series. He's 6 for 11, hitting .364. High cheese there from Chamberlain. 94 miles an hour. Not even that high. The velocity was just the height of the pitch. The 1-1.
You know, I heard you use the terminology cheese, and that's in regard to a fastball. But you know, now the players are breaking it down into cheddar, brie, Swiss, good old American cheese.
Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. So Adam Jones down on strikes.
You know, one thing he does here, and that you shouldn't do, you shouldn't hold the bat out there. Bring it back. Don't let those umpires have a look.
.80 pitches for Chamberlain. Now the pitch to Markakis is a strike. Markakis, fly ball right and a walk. 1-1. A strike, 1-2.
That looked like a changeup.
And Aubrey Huff is on deck. Tapped slowly back to the mound. Backhanded by Jobby, has no play. In case you just joined us, there's some drama in this game. In the first inning, Aubrey Huff, with 2 men on and 1 out, drove that ball into the seats in right center. Pumps his fist around first, mimicking Jabba, and then right at home plate as well. And the last time up, Huff walked. Now there's a runner on first base, and Kenny mentions this. It's more important to win the game than get retaliation. They're going to face the Orioles 12 more times after today, but we'll see if anything happens. So Markakis gets a hit on that one.
Once Jabba bobbled, there's no chance to get Markakis. Markakis will run, although he only has 1 stolen base this year. And sometimes that's a product of what the hitters behind you are doing, and Huff's driving in a lot of runs. So you don't want to get thrown out with him at the plate. Huff now with 31 runs batted in on the season. That leads the team. Markakis is second with 30.
Right in on the fist, popped up to Jeter. He makes the catch for the second out. going to try to interpret this, Kenny, and I don't know whether you agree or not. There have been people on base when Huff came up after the fist pump incident, and Job hasn't done anything, and you would say, okay, maybe it's that reason. How about this for another reason? Job might say, you know what, I do it.
Yeah.
How can I complain if somebody does it to me?
That's true. You know, and I think that's the way it should be. You know, if he wants to continue to do that, he knows he's going to antagonize some of the players on the other team. So like I said before, if you're going to dish it out, you got to be able to take it.
Here's Mora. Pitches high.
Whether the other team feels you are showing them up or not. But I am telling you, you know, you go back a few years, we talk about throwbacks. It might not happen today, but it's almost as if teams knew that something was going to happen. And it was more or less players took care of it on the field. I think I've told this story before where when I was at the Mets in spring, no, I wasn't with the Mets at the time, but John Milner got hit with a pitch, and I believe it broke his hand or broke his wrist, the late John Milner. And Bob Gibson hit him. Cardinals were playing the Mets. About 4 months later, Tom Seaver's facing Gibson in a game, I believe it was in St. Louis, and Gibson got an 0-2 count, and Seaver hit him in the back. And Gibson's walking down to first, and he's looking at Seaver, and Seaver says, John Milner, spring training. And Gibson said, oh, all right. He kept on walking to first.
It's different when pitchers hit.
Yeah. Look at it. I'll pick off a cameraman down there. You know, I've noticed that a lot in games where the kids are beneficiary of a lot of base. It all started with that policeman we had the other day.
In New York?
Yeah.
Gave the ball to the kid in the Yager jersey.
Oh, the other night, yeah. Not really. It didn't all start then, but it's just.
There's a lot of benefits to being a kid, Kenny.
What?
You're cute. They give you the ball. You know, if you're, an old slug like me, I'm not getting a ball from anybody.
I'll give you a ball, Michael. You're cute.
Driven out to right field. Slices foul.
Melvin trying to pick on that corner out there, and we saw Nick. I should say we saw Nick Swish. We got two Nicks in right field. Whenever they make a catch, nice. It's a nick of time out in right field. But there's a corner just to the right there where the ball can get hung up, and the outfielder will kind of disappear into that corner. Nick having some fun with some of the fans here.
Get the feeling Nick would have fun anywhere. 1-2 upstairs. 95-mile-an-hour fastball. So Job is carrying his velocity later into games. But he's got a high pitch count of 92, and again, you'll hope that he gets through 6. Through 108 pitches last time. That's his season high. 2-2. And the count is full of 3-2. That will release the runner at first. That's Markakis. Teixeira will play behind Markakis. Swing and a miss. And Jabba strikes him out, his 5th strikeout of the game. Check that, 6th. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. It was his 5th strikeout as we go to the 6th. Time for another look at today's Toyota Text Poll. Once again, the question, what has been the most impressive accomplishment in the early part of the 2009 season? You've been texting us at 58772, and here's how you voted. Zach Greinke's 6-1 start, most people believe is the most impressive. Then the Blue Jays in first place. Ryan Zimmerman's 27-game hit streak and Carl Crawford's 21 stolen base. That's the way I would rate it from 1 to 4.
Zimmerman is the Nationals are out in Arizona today. They haven't started as of yet.
First pitch strike to Mark Teixeira. Squibbed out toward third. Mora. One away. Uehara has thrown a first pitch strike to 15 of 21 batters. He's not fallen behind in the count, 2-0 so far. And he's not thrown 3 balls to any batter so far. Along with Ken Singleton, I'm Michael Kay. You're watching Yankees baseball on this Mother's Day on the Yes Network. It is 3-1, Orioles leading the Yankees. All the runs coming in the first inning. A Mark Teixeira home run in the first, and Aubrey Huff 3-run shot also in the first. Here's Alex Rodriguez. High fly ball, center field. Adam Jones drifts over to right center, and there are 2 outs. Wednesday night on Yes, the Yankees take on the Blue Jays in the second of 3 from Toronto. Coverage starts at 6 with batting practice today, presented by Audi and the pregame. And then Ken Singleton and Al Leiter have the call from the booth. It's the Yankees and the Blue Jays Wednesday starting at 6, only on Yes. And Tuesday's game will be on My 9 starting at 7. And that's a beauty. It's Halladay against Burnett. Here's Hideki Matsui. And there's a strike.
Uehara's been impressive. Throwing the ball over the plate for strikes, not falling behind Jamie Walker. The veteran left-hander's up in the bullpen.
.91 pitches for Uehara. Matsui so far today against his former teammates with the Tokyo Giants. He's 0 for 2. Fly ball to center and a strikeout.
He's looking for his first hit against his former teammate.
And the count 2-2. Popped up. That's an easy inning for Uehara and the Orioles. Mora on the mound, puts it away. A 1-2-3 inning, and it was done with just 8 pitches. Yankees go down in order. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Orioles 3, Yankees 1. Well, today after the postgame on Yes, don't miss an all-new WB Mason Presents The Joe Girardi Show, featuring a recap of this tough week against the Red Sox, the Rays, and the O's. Then later stick around for an all-new Yankees on Deck. It all starts today after the postgame, only on Yes. Ty Wigginton cannot hold up. And he goes around for a strike. That'll do it for Uehara, who's pitched 6 innings. And gets a hug from his manager. And there's a hot shot to Jeter on one hop. He guns him out, 1 down. Let's try to explain Jabba Chamberlain. First inning against the Red Sox, dreadful. After that, great. First inning against the Orioles, he struggled. After that, scoreless. So what do you make of it?
Yeah, maybe not as overpowering as he was against the Red Sox following the first inning, but certainly getting the job done, keeping them off the scoreboard. He's allowed just 3 hits since the first inning. He allowed 5 in the first inning. It's kind of hard to explain. It's got to be something with his warm-up routine that the Yankees might be looking to alter in the future.
Pitch is on as a strike. Alfredo Aceves beginning to warm. Count 2-1. Greg Zahn's 0 for 2, struck out and flew out to center. There's a strike.
A good breaking ball, too, that dropped in. Had a lot of bite to it still, and here in the 6th inning.
That was his 100th pitch.
Yeah, you would figure this is going to be Joba's last inning, and then Joe Girardi's going to go to the bullpen.
Ground ball to Jeter. 2 outs. Well, the only mistake that Joba made was that 3-run home run by Huff. Let's take a look at the Coors Light freeze cam. Freeze it right there.
With Robertson Jones on base, and you can see the bat coming up to meet the ball, and watch the follow through as this one barely cleared the wall in deep right center field.
Pitch to PA is low and inside. A strike.
Prior to the first game of the series, PA was working with the first base coach John T-Bone Shelby on his breaks in the outfield. There's Shelby, T-Bone back in the day, and PA's got a lot of ability. He's a good athlete, but it just hasn't translated into being a baseball player as of yet. And one of the things he has to work on is his breaks in the outfield. Now, remember when he was with the Cubs, he was primarily a center fielder. Here in Baltimore, he's going to play left field if he's going to play at all. And he was working on breaking back on the ball.
Line into center field. It is a base hit for PA. So he's 2 for 3.
PA has not had many multi-hit games this year, but he has one this afternoon. In 21 games that PA has started, he's now had a hit in only 6 of them. So that's why his average is way down there. Shelby's been working on his defense, and of course Terry Crowley's been working on the offense.
Kenny, you realize that the Yankees have had in the history of their game the best PA ever, right?
Yeah, certainly. I'll agree with you right there.
Bob Shepard.
No 2 ways to slice it.
This PA has a long way to go. There's a chopper to second base. Cano's right there, and he'll gun down Andino for the final out of the 6th. So 3 ground balls for Joba Chamberlain. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. We go to the 7th. 3-1 O's. It's time to have the Orioles make a call to the bullpen. Brought to you by AT&T. Your world delivered. Yankees are happy to see Koji Uehara out. They couldn't get much going against him, so now they'll take their chances against the Orioles bullpen. And the Orioles turn to their left-hander, Jamie Walker. He'll face 2 switch hitters and a lefty. Walker came in yesterday, faced 2 batters, struck him out. You see what he's done, 13 games and just 5 2/3 innings. So he's been a specialist this year.
You can see his controls are pretty good this year, too. He hasn't walked anybody as of yet this season.
Yankee offense sluggish, just that 1 run in the 1st inning, a home run by Teixeira.
Kind of belies his name, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. So with a lefty on the mound, Swisher turns around to the right side. He's 1 for 2, struck out in the 2nd, single to right in the 4th. Pretty weird stat. In 121 plate appearances, Nick Swisher has worked the count full in 33 of them. That's about 27%. That's a lot. So he sees a lot of pitches. Count 2-1.
Well, he's got power. Pitchers have to be careful with him. I mean, they're just not laying it in there and just hoping for the best.
And the count 2-2.
And Nick is when he gets an off-speed pitch like that, when he's ahead on the count, he's not going to swing at it.
Still 2-2. They announced the attendance, 33,290.
That is the smallest of the 3 crowds we've had here this weekend.
Yesterday was 41,825, and on Friday night 36,926. But they'll take them because, as Kenny mentioned, they're averaging about 19,000 a game.
I think we mentioned last year too. We ran the numbers. Josh Isaac ran the numbers, and it came out that the Yankees and the Red Sox comprise 40% of the Baltimore home attendance. 2 cities on the East Coast who are passionate about their teams, and they come down here to, fans come down here to follow them.
Swisher kind of jumping out of his spikes. That's some of the off-speed stuff from Walker. Sunday was never a good day for the Orioles last year. They were 4-21 on Sunday. They lost 15 straight from April 13th to July 20th. And here's another 3-2 count on Nick Swisher, so his 34th of the year. That's out of 122 plate appearances. Swisher, Cano, and Cabrera against Walker. And Swisher swings and misses at the change. 1 away.
That might have been the slowest pitch of the event. 79 miles an hour, according to the scoreboard here. And the 3-2 changeup with a little movement down and away right at the very end. Jamie Walker breaking out his bag of tricks.
So he's faced 3 Yankees in this series, struck them all out. Here's Robinson Cano. Pitch is high. He struck out Matsui and Swisher last night. So Swisher's gone down twice against him. Now 1-1. Yankees have to rally here, as they did not come into Baltimore having lost 5 straight, thinking they were going to lose 2 out of 3 to an Oriole team that's in last place in the East. Jim Johnson, who threw great last night, is ready in the bullpen. So if the Yankees have a rally in their bones, this might be the time to do it. 1-1. Inside 2-1.
Yeah, Jim Johnson was probably George Sherrill saved a lot of games last year, but came up with arm problems. Johnson, who's been working with some sort of shoulder impingement himself, still has been throwing like 96, 97, 98.
High fly ball, deep right. Markakis back, track, wall, see ya. Solo home run, Robinson Cano. And the Yankees have pulled to within 1, 3-2.
Well, it's the first home run that Jamie Walker gives up this year. A high fly ball to right that's going to go into the flag court. Cano, that's home run number 6 on the season. Walker had all kinds of problems last year. I mean, he was having back and arm problems, and Robbie Cano connects off him to bring the Yankees within one.
High fly ball, shallow left. PA comes in. 2 down. So Cano 2 for 3 today. His 6th home run of the year. And you'll have to stick around after the final out of this series with the O's for the WB Mason postgame with Nancy Newman. Get a complete wrap-up of this series against Baltimore and then a look around the majors. Plus, Kimberly Jones heads to the clubhouse to talk to the players. It's the WB Mason postgame, and it's only on Yes. Now, Dave Tremblay is going to take the ball from Jamie Walker. He's going to signal for the hard-throwing Jim Johnson. So it'll be Johnson against Cervelli, unless the Yankees send up a pinch hitter. When we return, they are down by 1.
Instability, bad.
Nailed it.
Drinkability, good. Not too heavy, not too light. Bud Light. The difference is drinkability.
So you've been doing a nice job out there helping people save money on car insurance.
Oh, thank you, sir.
But I think there are a few other things you can say about what a reliable company Geico is.
Right, well...
Hey fans, today and throughout the Yankee season on Yes, we're allowing you to vote along with the 2 of us here in the booth for the Chevrolet play of the game. Text your vote to 58772 for that player of the game. And today's candidates are number 1, Uehara, number 2, Huff, number 3, Teixeira, number 4, Robinson Cano. Vote now, make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. Johnson will deal to Cervelli. Pitch outside, 1-0. And a strike, 1-1.
Jim Johnson, born in Johnson City, New York. Now lives in Endicott, New York.
So his name should really be Jim Endicott. The 1-1. Outside, 2-1.
And last night we mentioned he was throwing 97, 98. His changeup was 88 miles an hour. That last fastball, according to the stadium scoreboard here, was 98. So he hadn't lost anything after coming back a day game after a night game.
Soft ground ball right side from the outfield grass. Roberts cannot get Cervelli, who runs pretty well for a catcher. Slow developing play, and once Roberts kind of moved out to the outfield grass, it was going to be a close one.
Cervelli with the hustle has his first multi-hit game in the major leagues. Roberts is playing him up the middle. Here's the ground ball. He kind of took his time from that point on, and it cost him. Cervelli hustling and makes the call himself, and he's going to be on. Here's the hustle down the line. He's thinking infield hit.
Here's Derek Jeter. He's 1 for 3. With Johnson's fastball, you can see Jeter taking it to right and driving it that way. Count 0-1.
I don't think the Orioles have anybody who throws harder than Jim Johnson.
That one 93 miles an hour.
They drafted him in the 5th round of 2001. So he has come through the Orioles organization, starting out in the Gulf Coast League, then the Bluefield Rookie League.
Slow rolling, going to be a very tough play. Going to be a base hit for Jeter. Jeter with his second base hit of the afternoon.
Once it gets by Johnson with 2 outs, Melvin Moore is way back, and all he can do is field it with the bare hand. No chance to get Jeter. You saw him fake the first and then look towards second as if to get Cervelli to round the bag, and that didn't work either. And the Yankees have the tying run at second base to go ahead and run at first.
2 men out, and here's Damon. He has a 6-game hitting streak. He's 0 for 3, and in all 6 games he's had an extra base hit. The tying run is at second. That's Cervelli. Go ahead and run at first. That's Jeter in the top of the 7th. And the pitch outside from Johnson. Got a backdoor breaking ball. And the 1-0. 2-0. The run the Yankees pushed across here this inning. Pushed across. It was a home run by Cano. The only run not scored in the first inning by either team. Strike, 2-1.
Damon looked for a fastball, but that one hit the outside corner, so he took a pass on it. Three pretty strong arms in the outfield.
Now the count 3-1. On deck is Mark Teixeira. And the pitch. Strike. Well, that helps the Yankees a little bit because now Cervelli will be going on the 3-2 and 2 outs, and that will help them against the strong arms in the Oriole outfield. Yeah, that looked low and inside.
It had some comeback over the inside corner, and Damon thought he wasn't going to hit the corner.
Crowd of over 33,000 getting into it. Oriole fans and Yankee fans. First and second, runners go. 3-2 is driven deep to right field. There it goes. See ya! A 3-run home run for Johnny Damon, and the Yankees lead 5-3. Johnny Damon with his 9th home run of the year, a team-leading number 9, and a big shot here in the 7th to give the Yankees the lead.
Let's check out the sequence of pitches to Johnny Damon. Outside for ball 1, fastball again, ball 2. Here's one to hit the corner, 2-1. Just upstairs, just on the corner, and there it goes. He came back with the very same pitch that was called a strike on 3-1, and Damon was waiting for it.
And the pitch to Teixeira is a strike.
Another look. You know, the thing about Johnson last year, what made him so effective on a team that gave up a lot of home runs, in 54 appearances, he did not give up a home run out of the bullpen. This year, he's given up a couple already. Damon keeps the streak going of extra base hits in how many games now, Michael?
7 in a row.
7 in a row.
So the Yankees did indeed have a rally in their bones here in the 7th inning. They've scored 4 runs to take a 5-3 lead. Now it's up to the bullpen, the 2-2, as Teixeira swings and misses. But the Yankees, with 2 home runs in the 7th, take the lead. Robinson Cano's solo shot made it 3-2. And Johnny Damon's 3-run shot made it 5-3. Time for the 7th inning stretch. Thank you, Nancy. Bottom of the 7th inning. The Yankees have a 5-3 lead. Kenny, the team seems somewhat sleepy, somewhat sluggish. Yesterday's game wasn't pretty after the 8 runs in the 2nd inning by the Orioles. They needed an inning like that. Now it's up to the bullpen to protect it.
It certainly is, but there's one guy who's been really on a roll lately, and if it's the hottest of all the Yankees has been Johnny Damon. He's hitting well over 350 this month, coming up with extra base hits, big home runs when you need it. And certainly that's a big one when it gives you a chance to take a series 2 out of 3. And you're right, but it's time for the bullpen to step up and do the job.
Talking to Johnny today, and he has 28 home runs against the O's, most against any opponent. And he said, I said to him, I said, wow, the way you're hitting home runs, you might have 40 this year. And he goes, well, I hope. I said, what do you mean you hope? He goes, because if I have 40, then I'm coming back. Because he's a free agent at the end of the year, and he desperately wants to stay here. And it's obviously a decision that the Yankees have to make far, far in the future from now. But, you know, he thinks if he puts up 40, they'd have a good chance of wanting to bring him back. So he's got 9 right now, and that was a big one right there. So Johnny Damon provides a big blow here on Mother's Day to give the Yankees a 5-3 lead. So the Yankees now will turn to Phil Koch to pitch the bottom of the 7th inning. Koch in 15 games, or this is his 15th. The previous 14, 1-2, 3.86. Now he's pitched a lot better of late. You could see, Kenny, that they are giving him very important innings now.
Yeah, very important innings. They want to turn Brian Roberts to the other side of the plate. Roberts going to hit right-handed. Then you got Jones and Markakis, and then Huff. So a switch hitter, a right-handed hitters, and then the 2 lefties. Markakis and Huff.
Well, Roberts will start it off. He's 1 for 3. Singled and scored in the first and struck out in the second, struck out in the fourth. Spins around to the right side. The bullpen does its job. Jabba picks up his second win of the year. But getting 9 outs out of that bullpen is going to be a little bit of a challenge for Joe Girardi. The bullpen has been very, very shaky. And Jose Barris, who's either very, very good or very, very bad, is next up in the pen. There's a strike. A lot of panic about the bullpen, but you have to remember 2 of the most important components of the bullpen on the DL, Brian Bruni and Damaso Marte. And they expect to get both of them back at some point. Fights it off and fouls it off.
With Marte in particular being out, it gives Joe Girardi 1 less lefty to go to. And you know, there are some bullpens in the league where there are no left-handers, but you always want that second option if you can, so you can use 1 lefty in the game to get that 1 big left-handed hitter out, and then bring another one in a little bit later. You saw Mariano sitting out there too, and there's some questions about his ability right now.
And the 1-2. Count now 2-2. This is the hard part of the lineup to navigate. This is the dangerous portion of the Oriole lineup. It's not a bad hitting team. They don't win pretty much because of their starters, not because of their starters on offense. Their starting pitchers give them the most problems. So once again, a starting pitcher doesn't come through for the O's. Yesterday, Adam Eaton got the win, and in the last 15 games, he's the only starter that's picked up a win for Baltimore, 2 of them. So Roberts has worked the count full. Koch does not want to free pass him and allow him to run. Yankees are leading 5-3, bottom of the 7th. And the 3-2. Roberts battling.
Roberts had a hit and scored in the first inning. He was on board for the Huff homer, but since then he has struck out a couple of times. And as Michael pointed out, prior to his first at bat, he's been struggling. He's now 6 for his last 39.
3-2. Grounded to short. Jeter has to hurry, and he gets Roberts for the first out. Well, fans, celebrate the inaugural season of Yankee Stadium on Saturday, May 16th with a long-time Yankee Stadium tradition. It's Cap Day. All fans in attendance when the Yankees play the Twins will receive a Yankees cap courtesy of Hess. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or you can call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Here's Adam Jones. He's 2 for 3. So Uehara cannot get the win. And the pitcher of record for the Orioles at this point is, in fact, Jim Johnson. Pitch outside. And the pitch. There's a strike from Koch in the count 2-1.
Now the reason why Joe Girardi went to Koch here in the 7th inning, just in case the Orioles got something going with their first 2 hitters. The 3 and 4 hitters are left-handed batters, and that's why Koch was the choice. Now the ideal thing would be him to get Roberts. He's gotten him, then get Jones, and then face Markakis and/or Huff a little bit later on, maybe next inning, with nobody on base.
And Jones goes down swinging 2 away.
Good downer. Good breaking ball down and in, and Jones was over the top. Watch the break on this one. Right down near that back ankle.
There's Markakis.
If Koch should get Markakis, you could see him start the next inning off and face Huff, and then Joe Girardi would have the decision to bring on a right-hander.
And he does get Markakis. Coming on is Damon. And he'll put it away for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. A good job by Koch. We go to the 8th at Camden Yards, and the Yankees lead this one 5-3 right here on Yes. As we go to the 8th inning, it's time to take a look at the Land Rover drive of the game. And this one's not that tough to pick.
Yeah, and we just saw it, Michael, a 3-run shot for Johnny Damon in the top half of the 7th inning that gives the Yankees a lead at 5-3. And Johnny's been on fire late with the home run ball. Takes over the team lead. That's his 9th home run of the year. Our Land Rover drive of the game.
There's Alex Rodriguez. And he takes a strike from Jim Johnson. Boy, Johnson gave up 2 very soft hits with 2 outs in the 7th, and then the long shot by Johnny Damon. A slow roller by Cervelli in the hole on second base side. And Derek Jeter slow roller up the third baseline. A-Rod is gunned down. 1 away.
Nice play by Andino coming over the bag. A-Rod looked like he got jammed a little bit, and Andino came up, made the 360 move, and then unloaded. In on the hands. Here comes Andino into your picture. Flashing some leather and some acrobatics. And Alex is out, number 1.
Here's Matsui. He's 0 for 3. And a strike. Grounded to first. Huff is right there. Take it himself. And there are 2 outs. Hey fans, after the final out of this series of the O's, stick around for the WB Mason postgame with Nancy Newman. Get a complete wrap-up of this series against Baltimore and a look around the majors. Plus, Kimberly Jones heads to the clubhouse to talk to the players. It's the W.B. Mason postgame. It's only on Yes. Here's Nick Swisher. He's 1 for 3. And a strike. Count 0-2, so Johnson looks a lot stronger and more assured this inning than he did giving up the home run to Damon. Yankees trying for their 15th win of the year. They're 14-16.
Look out. I think that got him, didn't it? Sounded like it.
I think he dropped the bat. Might have been the sound you heard.
Target is kind of in. Let's see. No, you're right, Michael. Didn't get him. But he could hear it whistle by. Gave up the pink bat.
1-2.
Yeah, the home run that Damon hit, if he noticed where the 3-1 pitch was, had that movement and came back over the corner. 3-2. Johnson came back with the same pitch, but Johnny recognized it. And right now, the way that Johnny Damon's swinging, you don't want to stay in the same area too often.
1-2. Swing and a miss. Hat trick for Nick Swisher. He has struck out 3 times. The Yankees go down in order here in the 8th, and we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Yankees holding on to a 5-3 lead over the O's. While we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, the Yankees lead 5-3. Phil Koch's still in there, and it'll be Aubrey Huff, Melvin Mora, and Ty Wigginton. Yankees with 10 hits, the Orioles with 9. And the pitch to Huff is upstairs 1-0. Big 3-run home run in the first inning for Huff. Count 2-0. Jose Veras still warming for the Yankees. And there's the strike, 2-1. There's Jose. Koch came on to start the 7th and pitched a 1-2-3 inning, the 2-1. They say that Huff went around in the count 2-2. Huff looks back at Mark Carlson. And the 2-2.
Look out.
3-2.
Huff recently in Toronto during a series disagreed with a call from the home plate umpire, and by the time Dave Tremblay came out.
Fly ball, left center. Damon's there. 1 out.
Dave Tremblay tried to come out to protect his first baseman, and the manager got thrown out.
Now it looks like Joe Girardi is going to hang there with Koch. Doesn't want to take a chance with Veras and will come in with Rivera in the ninth. Now if Koch gives up a run, maybe he does go to Veras to get Wigginton.
I think one reason why he's staying with him, at least right here through Mora, is because the tying run's not at the plate.
And also tomorrow's an off day. There's a strike to Mora. So that'll give him time to recharge. Line drive, a base hit. Over the leaping try of A-Rod, so now the tying run does come to the plate.
A-Rod was playing about even with the bag because Mora's a good bunter. And that was the difference in this line drive in his direction, because he just couldn't get up high enough. He's playing a little deeper. He might have been able to come down with it. Instead, ball just gets over his outstretched glove, and he's on.
Now the fact that Joe is staying with Koch is such a telling sign that he has no faith in anybody in the bullpen other than Koch and Rivera right now. He pretty much knows what he's going to get from them. He's not sure what he's going to get from anybody else. And he might get a double play here on the bat at Wigginton. There's one, double clutch, and two. So a 6-4-3 double play, and Girardi gambles by keeping in Koch, and Jeter starts the 6-4-3 double play. Hot shot off the bat at Wigginton, and you get a little nervous there when Cano double clutch, but Wigginton doesn't have great speed. No runs a hit, no errors, and because of the DP, nobody left. We take this one to the ninth, 5-3 Yanks. Well, the Orioles bring on their closer, George Sherrill, who'll face the bottom of the Yankee order, Cano, Cabrera, and Cervelli. And Sherrill deals. There's a strike. Boy, the deal that sent Eric Bedard to Seattle really turned out to be a pretty good deal. You see what Sherrill's done so far. He was in the All-Star game last year, 5 saves. But they got a center fielder who's going to be here for a long time. They got a closer, and they got a kid named Tillman in the minor leagues who might be a number 1 or a 2 starter.
He's should be up sometime this year. That's what I've heard. So Bedard is having a better year than he had last year. Last year he was injured and really didn't get off on the right foot with Seattle. But this year he's pitching a lot better.
The 0-2. Grounded to third. Oh, what a play by Mora. He took a base hit away from Cano.
Well, Mora's made some good plays throughout this series, and here's yet another one. This ball is scorched on the ground. Watch him stay with a tough hop. Looked like the ball, he didn't get it clean. It looked like it was resting against his body to throw over the first in time for the out. Here's Melvin Mora last night. Francisco Cervelli robbed of an extra base hit. Mora with the all-out dive, and Cervelli comes up empty.
And the pitch to Melky Cabrera is outside.
Melvin's been with the Orioles longer than any other player. Current player.
Shows bunt with Melvin back in the count 2-0. Cabrera's 0 for 3 today. Grounded to short, fly ball to center, fly ball to left. 10 for his last 28. Hitting .325 overall. Foul back. Mariano Rivera warming for the Yankees. How will he bounce back from one of his toughest outings ever? Thursday against Tampa Bay, gave up back-to-back home runs in the 9th inning. Game Tampa Bay won 8-6. Count 2-2.
You know, interesting thing about Sherrill last year making the All-Star team as one of the closers in the American League is that he had never closed before. In Seattle, he was not a closer. He was a setup man for J.J. Putz, who's now, of course, with the Mets.
As a setup man.
As a setup man, yeah.
Two. Given deep to center field. Going back, Adam Jones. He's still back, still back, still back. Can't make the play. And it bounces over the wall for a double.
Well, Melky Cabrera with his 4th double of the season. And Adam Jones is trying to time this and make the over-the-shoulder catch. The Orioles actually get a break by having that ball bounce over the wall, because if it didn't, Melky was going to have a triple, and he would have been on third with just 1 out. Jones up against the wall, just beyond the outstretched glove, and it's a double for Melky Cabrera.
And Cervelli fouls it back.
Cervelli's had his first multi-hit game in the major leagues, and now he's looking to add at least one more, his first 3-hit game.
Grounded left side. Picked there by Mora. Cervelli really moves for a catcher, and there are 2 outs.
Here's the hustle that Michael's talking about, and yep, he can pick him up and lay him down.
Maybe we're just used to seeing Posada Molina.
Man, that could be part of it. You're going to get a text from John Flaherty pretty soon here. I can feel it coming.
John Flaherty was very, very sprightly as a catcher, very quick. Here's Derek Jeter, and they're going to intentionally walk Derek to face the guy who gave them the deficit, Johnny Damon. That is an odd maneuver.
Well,
Johnny Damon might be the hottest Yankee right now.
Well, obviously they want the lefty matchup.
You know, I don't understand that, Kenny. If this guy's the closer, he's got to get everybody out.
Everybody out. And
if it was Jamie Walker, I'd understand doing it, but this guy gets everybody out. But that's what they're choosing to do, to go after the hotter hitter. And Damon is a .323 hitter against left-handers. Let's see if there's a number that jumps out against Sherrill. Yeah, Damon's 4 for 9 with a home run against Sherrill.
Here's the last at bat, and this one is the big one for the Yankees in the game. Fastball down and in, then up and away, into the bleachers, 3-run homer. Yankees had the lead.
Jeter 1 for 3 lifetime against Sherrill.
4 for 9?
4 for 9. 1-0.
You just do what the manager tells you.
And the 1-0. 1-1.
That was a good swing. Didn't fool him. Now the Orioles fans here in Baltimore have taken to wear their hat. The flat brim style is Sherrill wears it. Jabba Chamberlain wears his hat like that for the Yankees. Right out of the box, just put it on.
All they need is that sticker that the kids wear. They keep the sticker with the hat size on it. 2-2. Fouled away. Along with Ken Singleton, I'm Michael Kay. You're watching Yankees baseball right here on Yes. Top of the 9th inning, Yankees have come back from a 3-1 deficit on a 3-run Johnny Damon home run in the 7th, and they lead 5-3. Johnny Damon's up right now here in the 9th with runners on first and second and 2 outs. Swing and a miss, got on a breaking ball, so the strategy pays off. No runs are hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. Last licks coming up for the O's, and they're going to have to do it against Mo. They could add more, but Johnny Damon swings and misses. Stay tuned. Mariano not so good his last time out. And at the time, after the game, he and Joe Girardi admitted that the velocity's still not there. You'll hear on the Joe Girardi show right after the postgame that nothing's wrong with Mariano. There's nothing physically wrong. He just hasn't built up the arm strength, and they don't know when it's going to happen. He wishes that he could get a more regular work, but the Yankees haven't been in those sorts of games. Those are his numbers right now.
Well, 17 strikeouts for Mariano in 11 in the 3rd innings. Still hasn't walked anybody this year, but that's not been the problem. It's been the home runs. Giving up as many this season as he gave up all last year.
Here's Zahn. And Rivera deals. Foul back.
Mariano has more saves against Baltimore than any other team.
Comes inside, and the fastball has been around 91, 90. And when he's really right, it's 93.
Melky Cabrera's in right field now, and Brett Gardner's taking over in center.
Trying to tie him up with the cutter, and the count now 2-1. Mariano, as most closers do, short memory. And that one's foul back, and that's how you survive outings like the one he had on Thursday. Because if you take that one into this one, it's going to adversely affect this one. Popped up. Teixeira shades his eyes from the sun and puts it away in foul territory, 1-0.
We mentioned the save totals against Baltimore. 54 saves against the Orioles. Trying to make it double nickels.
Here's Felix P.A. And the pitch is high. 1-0. Although Mariano after Thursday's game said that the velocity is not where he wants to be, he said it's good enough for me to get people out, not an excuse. And the pitch inside, 2-0. And you do not want to walk anybody here and bring the tying run up. It's 5-3 Yankees, bottom of the ninth. There's a strike. Mariano has yet to walk a batter all year. So it's odd to see him 3-0 on anybody. Now the count 3-1. Now it's full at 3-2.
Well, he walked 6 batters all of last season. 2 of them were Orioles. I know one was Jay Payton, who's no longer here, and the other was Brian Roberts. But it's a small team pitcher from last year's walk total.
3-2. And he does walk PA, his first walk of the year. And that's going to bring up Andino. Andino grounded to short, lined out to short, and then grounded to second. And the pitch is low, 1-0. Five 11-0, leading 3-10-0. Each team's left 6 runners on base. And the pitch. Strike. Count 2-1. Mo against the O's right here, trying to close this out, give the Yankees a 2-1 series win. Cut just off the plate. A lot of movement on that pitch. Two and two. And the pitch. Foul back to the screen. Scoring in the first inning, Teixeira with a solo shot, then Aubrey Huff with a 3-run shot. The Orioles led 3-0 until the 7th. Cano made it 3-2 with a home run. And then a 3-run shot by Johnny Damon to extend his hitting streak and also give him his 9th home run of the year. His hitting streak's now 7 in a row, and the Yankees are holding on to that 5-3 lead. Foul back. Java Chamberlain started for the Yankees. Again, he had a rough first inning. Last time against the Red Sox on Tuesday, gave up 4 runs, this time 3 runs, but settled down for 5 shutout innings after that. Phil Koch pitched a scoreless 7th and 8th, and now they turn it over to Mariano Rivera to try to close out this one.
And Dino's given Mariano a tough at bat here. He's fouled off several pitches, eyeballed the count.
Strike 3. And the Yankees need one more out.
Eyeballed one too many. 7-pitch at bat here for Andino, who hung in there until the last pitch. Cutter's low for ball 1. Another one's high enough. 1-1. That's out off the corner. 2-1. Swing and a miss. Counts even. One up a little bit, fouled back. Same pitch, fouled back again. Come inside with the cutter. See you later. All the others had been away, and he snuck one over the inside corner for call. Strike 3.
The old front door cutter right there. Now here's Brian Roberts. They do not hold on PA at first. And the pitch. Strike. 0-1. Roberts, good numbers lifetime against Rivera. 5 for 14. That's .357. And the 0-1. A little bit low. 1-1.
Cervelli held the glove right there for home plate umpire Mark Carlson. Didn't get the call.
PA leads off first. Teixeira backs up at first. The 1-1 pitch. Check swing. Did he go? Did he go? No, he did not, said Jim Nelson. The third base up, and the count 2-1.
Here's another look. You see the cutter running in, and yeah, Roberts did hold up on that one.
And now the O's are down to their final strike with the count 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Orioles down by 2. Brian Roberts 1 for 4. He singled in the first and struck out, and grounded to short. Rivera sets, deals. Right back to Rivera. This will do it. He tosses to Teixeira, and the Yankees win the game 5-3. So the Yankees come back from a 3-1 deficit. A home run by Cano made it 3-2. A 3-run home run by Damon made it 5-3. And the Yankee bullpen today was spotless. 3 scoreless innings. Java Chamberlain picks up the win. Phil Koch gets a hold, and Mariano Rivera gets the save. In the 9th inning for the Orioles, no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. So the Yankees, who came into this series having lost 5 in a row, they win the first game. A great performance by CC Sabathia. The home run by A-Rod, first pitch off the DL. They got smacked around yesterday, but recovered today to win this one 5-3. And now they enjoy the off day in Toronto and begin a 3-game set against the first place Blue Jays on Tuesday. It'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights, and that should be fun as well. So again, they win this one by a 5-3 score here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. 5-11-0, beating 3-10-0. And Kimberly Jones has the hero of the day, Johnny Damon. Kimberly?
Thank Thank you, Michael. Johnny, that situation seems tailor-made for you right now, the way you're swinging the bat. How much did you love that 3-2 count, 2 on, a chance to win the game?
Oh, it felt real good. You know, my first couple of at-bats, you know, I didn't quite help the team out too much except for seeing a bunch of pitches. But getting a home run right there, putting us in the lead, and giving Jabba the opportunity to win the game. I mean, Jabba could have easily thrown in the towel. First inning, he gave up the 3 runs, and then he was lights out from then on. So he's growing up a bit, and it's actually great to see.
What were you looking for in the full count?
I was just looking for a hard fastball. He's got very good stuff, and the pitch right before, I could have sworn it was a ball, but it had so much movement, so it caught the corner, and I was fortunate enough to get a pitch middle in and down, and I took care of it.
Were you guys saying it's time for us to rally and win a game, win a series, especially with the way things have gone lately?
Well, we're always trying to go out there and win games. Unfortunately, it hasn't been easy for us. So this is a big game for us heading into the off day, and hopefully a few of us can rest some bumps and bruises and start on Tuesday against Toronto.
Very nice Mother's Day, Johnny.
Yeah, it turned out pretty good.
Thank you, Johnny. Michael.
You're watching New York Yankees Encore on the Yes Network. Once again, our final score, the Yankees 5 and the Orioles 3. Join us again Wednesday for our next Yankees telecast when the Bombers take on the Toronto Blue Jays at Rogers Centre in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The coverage begins at 6 p.m. right here on the Yes Network. For Ken Singleton, I'm Michael Kay saying see ya from Oriole Park at Camden Yards in Baltimore, Maryland.